Christian parenting.
Who doesn't want to be a happy homeschool mom? The kids sure do. Your husband does. And I can guarantee that you do too. Let's think of today's episode as a big pot of stew. We'll throw 10 ingredients into it and out pops a happier homeschool mom. Grab a pen and paper and take a few notes of the areas that you feel God wants you to focus in on so that you can be the homeschool mom that has joy in this season of life. Welcome to Little by Little Homeschool Podcast. I am your host, Leigh. My daughter and I, we got back from that trip that I mentioned last week. We had a wonderful time. I highly suggest it. And to be honest, this is a trip that we have wanted to take for years. I wanted to do it around when she graduated from homeschool, and that was around, we'll say 2020, 2021. So that wasn't going to work with the borders and that kind of stuff, and so we put it off, and she's had things going on, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's make some room in the budget, and let's go for it, and we had a really good time. Now, she's also a very important part of Little by Little Homeschool Conference. If you have watched any of my Instagram stories, I have shown you the bouquets she has done, the charcuterie boards and the food and all the things. She is my right-hand woman when it comes to the conference. And so if you have been thinking about attending, Jamie Erickson and Elizabeth Urbanowicz are both speaking, and I will be your host. We would love to be able to meet you and spend the day with you. So you're going to want to get your ticket here soon so that you have it and you can just kind of go into the rest of the summer, not worry about it, and then step into the new homeschool year and be like, you know what? Either a couple weeks or maybe a month into your homeschool year, be like, I am ready for this encouragement. You can get more information at the link in the show notes or simply go to littlebylittlehomeschool.com/conference. Now let's get into today's episode. Are you ready for a fun episode? I feel like especially the last episode was a little bit heavier. Sometimes they're just heavier and there's just things, because I think we need to talk about them. But let's have a little bit of fun and we're just going to fly through this list. It's going to be a good time. We are going to be talking about 10 rules for being a happy homeschool mom. Who doesn't want to be a happy homeschool mom? Everybody benefits when we're a happy homeschool mom, right? The first rule is to remember that you can't mess this up too badly. There you go. That's it. Maybe we can just stop the list. We can just do one. Nah, I've got 9 more for you. But you can't mess this up too badly. Let me add a disclaimer. As long as you are trying to homeschool and to mother well, as long as you are intentional, you can't mess it up too badly. When you start to see maybe that things are not going so great, then there are so many resources and so many things that you can pull in and you can ask, and there's opportunities to be able to make corrections. You can't mess it up too badly. Don't let the naysayers say that you will mess them up, because you won't. There are significantly way more well-adjusted homeschoolers out there. And when you encounter a second-generation homeschooler, in other words, they were homeschooled and now they're homeschooling their children, that is just a testament to how great homeschooling is and what an impact it made upon them. They want to do so with their own children. So you can be a happier homeschool mom when you realize that it doesn't all fall and rest upon your shoulders. Yes, you are going to make an impact, for better or for worse, but you can be happy just knowing, just rest in this, that you can't mess it up too badly. Number 2 is to embrace your family culture. When we embrace the way that our unique family is, we can just be happier because we stop trying to be somebody or something else or to be a family that we are not. Say, for example, you are a family that really doesn't like to travel. You prefer to be home, and a lot of times our family culture is set by the husband and the wife. Kids can come along and those adjustments can be made. But say you're a family that you enjoy just the quietness of your sweet little town and being home. And you say, oh, well, a lot of people are traveling a lot more, and I see a lot more videos online about people traveling. We should do that. And you're miserable traveling. Then maybe you're not a big travel family. That's okay. Maybe you are a family that enjoys just quiet evenings, sitting and reading books. Or maybe you're a family that enjoys getting out. You got basketball hoops in your driveway and you all enjoy playing basketball together, or you enjoy going for jogs at night, or I don't know, hiking. It can run anything. Whatever it is, embrace your family culture. You will be happier and more content when you guys are just being who and how God created you to be. There's nothing wrong with your family culture, as long as obviously your family culture is not evil or sinful, which I highly doubt. So embrace your family culture. It will make you happier because you will no longer be comparing to anybody else. And just remember that there are some families out there, you might be a little kind of jealous of their family culture, but turn that around, because I can almost guarantee that there are some families that really appreciate and wish that their family culture was a little bit more like yours. So we're all thinking it. Embrace your family culture. Use ideas of what other people do. We don't have to live in a vacuum. And you can add that to your family culture, but embrace it. You'll be happier. Number 3 is don't neglect your marriage. This is one that I can very easily struggle with. From the time that our children were firstborn baby, and so needy, needs everything from me. And I don't know. I'm just a type of person that I don't want my kids to feel uncomfortable. I want to be there for them. I want to do all these things for them. It doesn't mean that they're never uncomfortable or anything, but I can very easily neglect my marriage for our children. And it's something that I have to think about all the time. We've been married for 24 years, and it is something that I have to. We've had children for 22 years. I have had to consciously always think of this, and I fail often. I'm not perfect, and none of our marriages are perfect, but it is a struggle, and I'll admit that to you. But don't neglect your marriage. When we neglect our marriage, we aren't as happy. Our spouse is not as happier. And so when he is not as happy, you're not as happy, and you can just feel it. You know when you're neglecting your marriage. So if you want to be a happier homeschool mom, don't neglect your marriage. Pour into that. Number 4 is realize that each kid is unique, and we get to homeschool and parent accordingly. Now, you might have some basic family rules and guidelines in the way that you parent, but then we get to parent accordingly to each child. We get to tweak those things. We get to make some changes and adjustments with each child, depending upon their maturity, depending upon how trustworthy they are, depending upon the wisdom maybe that they just kind of naturally have, and their experiences and their goals. And so when we realize that each child is unique, it actually makes it a little bit fun to parent. I know it can be a little bit stressful too, but we don't have to do the same thing for each child, and we can be happy just with each child that God has given us and how they are unique. Number 5, be a happier homeschool mom by adjusting every homeschool year. That's the bare minimum, adjusting every homeschool year. So as right now, we are getting closer to the end of a homeschool year and you're thinking about next homeschool year, make adjustments accordingly. Because even now, April, say you don't start until September, that's how many months older that your children, each of them, will be. And so at a bare minimum, adjust every year. I highly recommend adjusting as the year goes along, and especially taking a deeper look between like Christmas and New Year's before you kind of jump back into things and say, okay, how are things going? And make some adjustments. At the bare minimum, adjust every year. You will be happier because you're not trying to fit last year into this year and it's not going as well. Number 6, find your friends. These friends can be homeschool mom friends. They don't have to be homeschool mom friends, but I suggest at a bare minimum having 1 or 2 homeschool mom friends, because you have someone to talk to about curriculum, about routines, maybe about homeschool mom books and all the things, but find your friends. And this doesn't mean that you have to get together with them often. There is no specific prescription as to how often to get together with them, but find your friends. Even just being able to text and voice message each other back can make you a happier homeschool mom. Number 7, set up a routine that works for you too. Maybe you don't want to start homeschool until closer to 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Then set up that routine. You might even have some kids who want to start bright and early. You might have some early risers. Let them do their independent work. They could start at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning and do their independent work. And maybe then you start doing your lessons or your morning time, your family learning. Doesn't start till 10, 11 because you just get going a little bit slower in the morning. Set up a routine that works for you too. The homeschooling is not just about your kids. It's also about you. It's also about your husband. It's also about what God is doing in each individual person in your family, as well as your family as a whole. And setting up a routine that works for you can help you to be a more happy and content homeschool mom. Number 8 goes kind of a little bit along with that, and that is to choose curriculum and resources that you enjoy. Let's add a disclaimer to this. You might have a child that really enjoys a specific math curriculum, and you want to gouge your eyes out with it, but they're doing really well with it. And so you say, you know what? I'm going to do what I have to do to be able to serve this child well. But given the option to choose, you might choose a different math curriculum, and maybe another child will do absolutely fine with a different curriculum. You might have a child that doesn't matter what math curriculum you give to them, they'll be fine with it. And so if you have those options that you can choose the curriculum and resources, choose some that you enjoy. And again, maybe you have that. Let's go back to that math. You can't really do one that you enjoy a bit more. This is one that's going to serve them well. Well, how about picking a language arts or a history or a science curriculum or resource that you really enjoy as well? We can always balance it out. Number 9 is to lean into your personality. Maybe you're a little bit quieter. Maybe you're a little bit more rambunctious. Maybe you're somewhere in between. Maybe you enjoy art. Maybe you enjoy science. Maybe you enjoy spending time outside. Maybe you enjoy spending time inside. Maybe you're an introvert. Maybe you're an extrovert. Maybe. All the maybes. Lean into your personality. God has given you your children that you have right there in front of you, not somebody else's children. And He didn't make a mistake. He knew that maybe that strong-willed child and you are very laid back. He knew that the two of you together were going to be a good team. And so lean into your personality and with the parenting. And if you have a strong-willed child and you are not a strong-willed type of person, I'm going to hope maybe your husband is. If he's not, then get some outside resources to help you out with that, because it's very unique with a strong-willed child. I have one of those, and I am the strong-willed parent. And there was definitely some fireworks at times, we'll just say that. But lean into your personality. This doesn't mean that we say, well, this is the way that I am, because there is sanctification. There is a refining that is going on. What I'm saying is lean into just what you bring to the table. I think it's so fun to see moms that are maybe just a little bit more flamboyant or more artistic, and let's just say their wardrobe. Just when it comes to clothes, I'm like, oh, that looks so cute. If I put it on, I would feel like a clown, because patterns and all the things, I might wear some things with stripes, but that's about it. Actually, I do like polka dots. I don't mind polka dots, like the right polka dots. I don't know if I have any, maybe dresses that might have some floral, but they're muted. It's just, I love it on other people, but I just feel like there's a spotlight on me if I wear any clothing that's a little bit more artsy or something. I'm just I feel like everybody's looking at me. And so it just isn't my personality. I'm just more of a jeans and a t-shirt kind of girl. And I think that's okay. If you enjoy wearing skirts and dresses and getting dressed up more often, you like getting your nails and your hair done, that's a part of your personality. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If your budget allows for it, then go for it. I'm not saying go get your hair done because you have to and your budget isn't allowing for it. But let's go back to that refining and that sanctification. So there's a line there of saying, well, let's go back to me being strong-willed. There are times that being strong-willed works for good, for God and His glory, and works for good for my family, and works for good for my friends, and works for good for me. But there are times that it does not work for good, when that strong-willed then crosses the line to sinful behavior. And that's when I need to be like, okay, God, please refine me, repent of what I have done, seek apology from other people, apologizing to those that I have wronged. But there are so many ways that God wants to work in us, refine us, and sanctify us, and we'll become very rigid and say, well, this is just the way that I am. There is that line that we can cross. So be careful of crossing that line. And number 10 of a way to be a happy homeschool mom is to remember that the outcome of your children, it's in God's hands. And you just do what He has called you to, and let Him carry that to completion. Let him combine all of those experiences and the education, the learning, and the family time, and the activities, and all of the things that you have done pouring into them to create this person. Now, we get to take an active approach when it comes to homeschooling and raising our children. What an awesome privilege. We aren't just coming off an assembly line. God just doesn't copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. It's not like that at all. The world is beautiful and wonderful, and he has put us together with our kids, and he has called us to homeschooling. So we get to take an active part, and we need to be intentional about it. Let's go back up to number 1, where I said you can't mess up too badly as long as you are trying. And then the outcome, I'm going to round this out with number 10, is that the outcome is in God's hands. That can lead you to being a happy homeschool mom because you feel content. We don't have to continue to strive. We don't have to do all of the academics. We don't have to enroll them in every single activity that is out there. We can be content that good things will come with the time that we have poured into our children.